Today's video is kindly sponsored by NordVPN. As someone who researches cases worldwide, it's not easy to access content, whether it be news reports, documentaries, or articles around the world. For example, due to restrictions in Europe, it can be difficult to access certain websites in the USA. However, NordVPN makes it possible for me to access this information, which is crucial in compiling the facts for each episode released on the channel. For those who may not be familiar with the term, a VPN is a virtual private network, which is a service that encrypts your browsing data whilst at the same time protects your identity and personal information online. A VPN hides your IP address and encrypts both ingoing and outgoing data, and in the most secure and private way to connect to internet servers around the globe. NordVPN has over 5,500 servers across 60 countries and is highly recommended by leading tech experts at sites such as Wired, The Huffington Post, Forbes, BuzzFeed, and TechRadar. You can access other content, for example on Netflix, that isn't available in your region or country, and you can have up to 6 simultaneous connections. There's also the CyberSec suite, which acts as an ad blocker, and you can still share files using peer-to-peer or P2P as it is more commonly known. With unlimited bandwidth, NordVPN doesn't log any of your data and has double encryption, going the extra mile to protect users' identities online. You're protected at home and on the go, whether you're travelling or out in public. NordVPN is available on Windows, Mac OS, Linux, iOS and Android devices, as well as a Chrome extension. Exclusively for subscribers of Dark Curiosities, for a limited time only, you can get 73% off plus 4 months free. Go to nordvpn.com/darkcuriosities, or you can click the link in the description below. Thank you once again to NordVPN for sponsoring today's video. I'm going to bed. I love you. These haunting words were the last known interaction that David Alan Crabtree had with his family before mysteriously vanishing in the spring of the millennium. David was described by his loved ones as a fun-loving 13-year-old boy who loved to play sports and make people laugh. He resided in Locust Grove, Oklahoma, with his mother, Brenda Miller, and his older siblings, James, Cynthia, and Christina, all of whom were close-knit. David especially looked up to his older brother James, and would often play the likes of football with him. David himself was an avid wrestler who had earned a number of trophies when he was around the age of 8 or 9. By the spring of 2000, something in David started to change. In the weeks leading up to his disappearance, David began to rebel, something which isn't uncommon in teenagers, though it was far from his fun-loving usual self. He would act out in school and sneak out of the Crabtree family home in the middle of the night. On the 5th of April, just days prior to his disappearance, he was stopped by police in a vehicle driven by an older male near to Pryor, Oklahoma, around 15 miles away from his home. He was reportedly intoxicated at this time. As a result, David was reprimanded for breaking curfew, and his mother went to pick her son up from the police station to bring him home. According to Brenda, David never made a fuss when this happened. In a National Centre for Missing and Exploited Children's blog post, Brenda stated that her youngest son was, quote, never argumentative, and he would always come home. The Crabtree parents subsequently sent David to a juvenile facility in Claremore in a bid to help change their son's rebellious behaviour. However, they quickly discharged him after he was found to be drinking alcohol on the premises. On the evening of April 9th, 2000, David turned in for the night shortly after dinner, retiring to his bedroom after saying goodnight to his family in the living room. He said, "I'm going to bed. I love you." Nothing appeared out of the ordinary. However, one of the Crabtree sisters, Christina, noticed 3 boys waiting outside David's bedroom window between 7 and 8 p.m. They allegedly asked her if she wanted to accompany them. However, she refused. David climbed out of the window and told his sister, quote, "See you tomorrow." It appeared that young David had every intention of returning home. However, he was never seen or heard from again. James Crabtree entered his brother's room at around 10 p.m. to check on him. However, David was not there and his bed hadn't been slept in. After speaking to Christina and to James, the Crabtree family subsequently reported David as a missing person after he failed to return home. However, local authorities seemed unconcerned, believing him to be simply a juvenile runaway. Many believe that if a child is a runaway and choose to leave of their own free will, that they are not really considered to be a missing person per se. However, this is entirely false. No matter the circumstances of one's disappearance, children all face the same dangers when they are missing, and they simply cannot look after or protect themselves from any danger. Yes, David had run away before, however he would always return, either straight home or he would go into town with friends, but on this occasion he never did. A number of unconfirmed sightings of David were called in from Pryor, Tahlequah, and Kenwood. However, it is unclear whether any of these sightings were of any significance, or if they were indeed 13-year-old David Crabtree. His family, friends, and local volunteers searched all over for David, on foot and in vehicles, but unfortunately, no trace of him could be found. Where was David going that night? Who was he with? Boys he knew from school, or people he had recently befriended? Had he fallen in with the wrong crowd? What events occurred before, during, and following David's disappearance that spring day remains shrouded in mystery. The OSBI, the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, and the Crabtree family themselves firmly believe that someone who knew David personally knows what happened to him on the night he vanished. All they want is for this person to come forward so that they can finally have some closure. Unfortunately, very little more information is available in this case, but that doesn't mean that David's disappearance should be forgotten about. Chief Brian Hurry of the Locust Grove PD is convinced that David would have contacted at least his brother James. The pair were almost inseparable. Something was surely awry. It wasn't until Chief Hurry became a part of David's case after reading about it on social media that the case was no longer classified as a juvenile runaway, but as a suspicious missing persons case. Along with special agents, Chief Hurry is trying to piece together a timeline of David's last known movements. There isn't a day that goes by where the Crabtree family don't think of David. Brenda told the National Centre for Missing and Exploited Children that, quote, "I want to tell David that we love him and miss him. Our hearts will be broken until he returns home. He's got nieces and nephews now, and we want to know that he's safe. I just want to hear him say, 'Mama,' again." David Crabtree was 13 years old when he vanished in April of 2000. He is described as being biracial, specifically Caucasian and Native American Cherokee, standing at 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighing around 125 pounds. He has dark brown hair and brown eyes, and on the night he disappeared, it is believed that he was wearing a grey shirt and a pair of black trousers. He has a scar on his eyebrow and a scar on the top of his head in the centre front area. He had previously injured his clavicle, and he may have altered his appearance, such as having grown a moustache. After 21 years, authorities are no closer to finding out what happened to David Crabtree on the night he vanished. Did he disappear of his own volition, or did he somehow meet with foul play? No one has come forward with any significant tips, nor have any John Does in the United States been identified as the missing boy. An age progression image of David was created by the National Centre for Missing and Exploited Children in 2018, depicting what David may look like if he is still out there alive somewhere. He would now be 35 years old. As of October 2021, this mysterious and heartbreaking case remains unsolved.